So here this M is equal to I into A. I is the area of the loop and A is the current flowing in it. Because the current is defined as the flow of charges per unit time or rate of flow of charges. So each atom has a certain magnetic property. Each atom has a certain magnetic dipole moment. So as a resultant, we say that this atom whose magnetic dipole moment M is in this direction, this atom whose magnetic dipole moment is in this direction, this atom whose magnetic dipole moment is in this direction, this atom whose magnetic dipole moment is in this direction. So the magnetic dipole moment of each atom is randomly oriented because the magnetic property of this atom is in this direction, this atom is in this direction. So as a resultant, the net magnetic field of this material is zero, and we call this material is non-magnetic material. Clear? So as a general, we call a material is non-magnetic material. So material, according to their magnetic properties, is to be classified in three categories. Number one is the diamagnetic material. Diamagnetic materials. Number two is the paramagnetic material. Number three is the ferromagnetic material. So these materials are categorized in three ways: diamagnetic materials, paramagnetic materials, and ferromagnetic materials. So what is the diamagnetic material or paramagnetic material or ferromagnetic material? Is that in the diamagnetic material, if this material is placed in a magnetic field, as a resultant, the dipole moment of each atom is aligned in the direction of the magnetic field or opposite to the direction of the magnetic field. So if we say that this material is placed in the external magnetic field B, this is the external magnetic field B, which is in this direction. If we say that this is the material which is the non-magnetic material, because its dipole moments are randomly oriented, so the net magnetic field of this material is zero. So when this material is placed in an external magnetic field, as a resultant, these dipole moments will try to align themselves in the direction of the magnetic field or opposite to the direction of the magnetic field. So if they are aligned in the direction of the magnetic field, this material becomes magnetized. So now the magnetic properties of the material is known as ferramagnetic material, in which the magnetic field of the magnetic dipole moment is along the direction of the magnetic field. But if the magnetic field of the magnetic dipole moment is opposite to the external magnetic field, then that material is known as diamagnetic material. So in the diamagnetic materials, the magnetic field due to M, magnetic field due to the magnetic dipole moment M is opposite to the applied magnetic field. But in the paramagnetic material, the magnetic field due to the M along the is along the direction of applied magnetic field. is along the direction of the applied magnetic field. And this ferromagnetic material, this is known as a permanent magnet. This is known as a permanent magnet. So these diamagnetic material and paramagnetic material, these both magnetic materials are not a permanent magnetic material. They have a magnetic properties. When this material is placed in an external magnetic field, as a resultant material get magnetized, or material gets magnetically polarized. We call it as a diamagnetic material and paramagnetic material. If the magnetic property of the substance of the material is opposite to the direction of the applied field, then material is known as a diamagnetic material. If the magnetic property of the material is along the direction of the applied magnetic field, the material is known as paramagnetic material. And this ferromagnetic material, whose magnetic field does not depend upon the external, it is a permanent magnet, and this is because of the spin motion. Because now you know that when this charge, when this charge is moving, as a resultant, the motion of the charge produces a magnetic field. Moving charge produces a magnetic field. You know that yesterday we have discussed that the magnetic field B due to the moving charge is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi into Q V velocity into unit vector upon R square. So this, if the charge q is moving with the velocity v, it will generate a magnetic field around it. The magnitude of this magnetic field b is equal to mu naught over 4 pi into this. R is the distance from the motion of the wire. And this is given by Biot-Savart law. Similarly, now here, you know that in the fifth chapter, you are very well familiar that this generates a magnetic dipole moment A, whose direction is normal to the plane of rotation. If we say that the plane of rotation is this, it means this is the right hand, and the direction of the fingers of the right hand indicates the direction of the motion of the charge, and this thumb pointing the direction of the magnetic dipole moment. So in this particular case, the motion is anti-clockwise or motion is counter-clockwise. So therefore direction is in the upward direction. But if we say that the motion of the charge is in this direction, is the clockwise, the direction of the magnetic dipole moment is in the downward direction. So M is in this direction. So here, you know that the electron, which has two properties of motion. One is the electron is orbiting around the nucleus. So we call it as the orbital motion. So this diamagnetic properties and paramagnetic properties of the electron is because of their orbital motion. If the electron is orbiting and spinning, because you know that the electron itself is spinning in its own axis, or we call it as a precessing of electron in its own axis. The precessing has a certain property, certain quantum property, and we call that property is the spin. So the electron has a spin either up or spin either down. If the precessing is counterclockwise, the spin is in the upward direction. If the precessing is in the clockwise, the spin is in the downward direction. So this ferromagnetic property of the material is because of the spin property of the material. So this magnetic property, which is the permanent magnetic property, which is the inherent magnetic property, is because of their spin motion. So this is the generally what is the magnetic properties of the material, and there are three magnetic properties. And you are very much familiar, if we say that this is the magnetic dipole moment M, I want to calculate what is the magnetic field over there. What is the magnetic field over there due to this M, due to this magnetic dipole moment. And in the last chapter, in the fifth chapter, you are very much familiar that in order to measure the magnetic field over there, you can find out the unit vector. This is the vector and we call it as a position vector. This position vector indicates the direction of the point where you want to calculate the magnetic field. So now this point is making a certain angle theta with respect to the M, because the M is along the Z axis. If we say that, if we draw here, this is the Y axis, this is the Z axis, and this is the X axis. So here this is unit vector I, this is unit vector J, this is unit vector K. So therefore here the magnetic dipole moment is along K axis and the magnetic field is to be measured between J and K, means somewhere here. So this point is making a certain angle with respect to the M. So you have a formula, you have a relation in your fifth chapter that the magnetic field due to the magnetic dipole moment is, I am writing it here, the magnetic field due to magnetic dipole moment is D is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi into bracket 3 M dot R is the unit vector, into R minus M divided by R cube. So this is the magnetic field B. This is given in your fifth chapter exercise. So this B, which is the magnetic field at a point P, due to this magnetic dipole moment M is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi into 3 M dot R. R is the unit vector which indicates the direction of the position vector. So the unit vector is in this direction and M is the vector here. Here is R cube. R cube is this distance. R cube is this is the R and this is the R cube. It means the magnetic field varies with 1 upon R cube. It means as the distance from the magnetic dipole increases, the magnetic field decreases much faster. Means decreases as faster as 1 upon R cube. So the magnetic field here is much stronger. Here is weaker, then going to zero almost. So this magnetic field varies inversely with R cube. Generally, you know that the magnetic field due to the motion of the charge QV varies with 1 upon R square. But here, due to the magnetic dipole M, the magnetic field B varies with 1 over R cube. Similarly, in the previous chapters, you know that you have a dipole, electric dipole. This is the positive charge and this is the negative charge. And they are separated by a distance, small distance d. You can find out easily the electric field over there. What is the electric field due to this electrical dipole? This is the electrical dipole. Positive charge and negative charges are separated by a small displacement. We call it as a electrical dipole. And you know that the electrical dipole is known as a P. And this P is equal to Q dot S. Similarly, you have a magnetic dipole N. So you can find out here the electric field E is equal to mu naught 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into equation 3 P dot R. P is a vector, R is a unit vector, into unit vector minus P divided by R cube. This is the electric field due to the electrical dipole. The electric field due to the electric dipole depends upon the electric dipole. This P is called the electric dipole, which is the product of Q into S. Q is the each of the charge and S is the separation between the. So instead of S, you may write it as a Q into D because we have here D. So here, this is the electric dipole. This you have discussed in chapter number 3. In the similar way, we have a magnetic dipole. So the magnetic field due to this magnetic dipole is the same. It is the similar relation. Instead of P, we have a M only. You have a electric potential, and electric potential, you know, that is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon R. This is the electrical potential due to the charge. Similarly, you have a magnetic potential, or if you have an electrical potential due to this charge is equal to P upon R square. This is the electrical potential due to the dipole, because this is P is the dipole. This what you have discussed in chapter number 3 of your course. The same way, you have a magnetic dipole N. On the same way, there is a magnetic vector, or we call it as a vector potential, which is due to the magnetic dipole, can be find out like that. The magnetic potential A, or we call it as a vector potential, this you have discussed in chapter number 5. Vector potential A is equal to mu naught over 4 pi M cross R. M is a vector, R is a unit vector, divided by R square. This is the vector potential due to the magnetic dipole. So here, these are the almost two similar things, that the magnetic field due to the magnetic dipole is similar as the electric field due to the electric dipole. Similarly, electric potential due to the electric dipole, here the vector potential is due to the magnetic dipole. So these are the basic fundamental properties of the material. If we say that now when the material is in this magnetic field, within this magnetic field, now this magnetic dipole is aligned in the direction of the magnetic field, So when they are aligned in the direction, first it was random. It means due to this B, the torque is produced, the turning effect. As a result, this will turn the magnetic dipole along the direction of the magnetic field. So here, this now magnetic dipoles are turned due to the external force of the magnetic field B. So this material is known as paramagnetic material. But if this is the material in which the dipoles are aligned in the opposite direction, this is the opposite direction. So here in this case, if the magnetic moment is aligned in the opposite to the external magnetic field, this is the external magnetic field, This is known as a diamagnetic material. And this magnetic field due to this dipole is equal to this. This is the magnetic field due to the single dipole N. And this is the vector. And this is the vector potential due to the magnetic dipole. So these are the magnetic properties of the materials. So now we are discussing the current. So now if the current carrying, now we are discussing the torque and forces on the magnetic dipoles. Torque and forces on the magnetic dipole. Simply, you know that this is the, let's say, a coil in which the current is flowing. This is the coil, a loop in which the current is flowing in this direction. The magnetic field, the magnetic dipole moment is in this direction. Let's say this is the N. If the magnetic field is in this direction D, and this magnetic field is making a certain angle with respect to the N, so the current is flowing in this direction. Its distance is S here. This is the square whose distance is S. Let's say what happens. As a resultant, when the magnetic dipole is placed in a magnetic field, the each portion of the wire will experience the magnetic force. So as a resultant, what happens? Look here. The magnetic force on each segment of the wire or each segment of the loop is when the current carrying coil is placed in the magnetic field. As a resultant, the magnetic force will be exerted on each side of the wire. As a resultant, the magnetic force will be exerted on each side of the wire. So magnetic force F is equal to I integral dl into B. I dl cross B. This is the magnetic force. F is equal to what we call it as a ILB. This integral over dl is the total length, or we call it as a ILB. This is the magnetic force which this current carrying wire is placed in a magnetic field. This current carrying wire is placed in a magnetic field. It will experience the magnetic force, and this is the magnetic force. So as a resultant, what happens, this the magnetic force is, this is the R in this direction, B is in this direction, the force direction is perpendicular to L and B. So as a resultant, the torque is produced, the torque N is equal to, which we call it as a S cross F. S is each of the side, S cross F. So here, this is torque on both sides is known as a torque due to the couple. When two equal and opposite forces acting on a coil, we call it the torque of the couple. So here, the torque S by 2 is multiplied by 2. So which we call it as a total torque is equal to S cross F. So here, F is equal to the I dl cross B. So in general, which we call it as I S cross into integral I dl cross B. This is the torque. So in general here, this dl is again equal to S. This is the dl. This is the dl. So the total dl is the length which is equal to S. So here this dl is equal to S. So we say that the torque N is equal to I. Here S into S is equal to S square, because that's integral over dl is equal to S. So S into S, S square into B. So this is known as a I S into B. Here there is a cross product, and cross product gives the sine of angle theta, and this theta is the angle between B and I. So here this N is equal to I, this S square which is equal to length into width is known as an area, A, B sine of angle theta. This I into A is equal to M. M is the current times area, which is the magnetic dipole moment, or we call it as a magnetic dipole moment. So here N is equal to M B sine of angle theta. So this sine of angle theta can be absorbed into M into B, which we call it as a M cross B. This is the torque. So the turning effect is equal to M cross B. If we look here, if we say that this is the coil whose aim is in this direction, and the B is in this direction, B external magnetic field is in the same direction. So will it rotate the coil? No, because both are in the same direction. So it will not rotate the coil. As a resultant, the direction of the aim will be the same. So the turning effect or the torque, which is the rotation, is zero. Because here sine theta is equal to 0 degree and sine 0 is equal to 0. So therefore there will be no torque is 0. But on the same way, if we say that this is the coil in which the current is flowing in this direction, its aim is this, and the magnetic field is this. Magnetic field is this. So here is the angle theta. So now it will turn it. There will be a torque. So this torque will try to align this in the direction of the magnetic field or opposite to the direction of the magnetic field. If this material is paramagnetic material, then this magnetic dipole moment will be aligned in the direction of the magnetic field, and we call this material is paramagnetic material. If this material is a diamagnetic material, then this dipole moment will rotate in the opposite to the magnetic field, and this is known as a diamagnetic material. So this is what we have, how the torque and forces on a magnetic dipoles. It means when these magnetic dipoles are placed in our previous topic, what we have discussed, in our previous topic, when the magnetic dipoles are placed in an external magnetic field, as a resultant, the torque is produced, the turning effect is produced. So this turning effect will rotate it along the direction or opposite to the direction, and we call it as a torque. So this is what we call it as a turning effect of the force. So now our next topic is when the current carrying coil is, when the orbiting electron is placed in the external magnetic field.